Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for attending the webinar today. I've been running these webinars every week now for the last 6, 7 weeks, where I've really been focusing on sharing tactics in terms of how counselors can really support classroom teachers to support the work that they're doing so we can get that compounding effect. Um, and that's where we can really make a big difference when we can get teachers to support the work that counselors do. As we know, in most of our schools, we struggle with the number of counselor support that we have. And so in order to really move the needle, we really need classroom teachers to be able to support us with authentic instruction in the work that they do every day to really move the needle when it comes to developing social emotional skills. So today we're going to be talking about some practical tactics that we can share with classroom teachers. And we're going to be focused on strengthening relationship skills. My name's Namish. I'm the founder and the CEO of Satchel. I founded the business 12 years ago. I was a former classroom teacher and then an assistant principal. And today we work with thousands of schools and school districts from across 40 states in the US and many, many schools in the UK and across many other countries. So we'll try and keep this brief, and we'll try and go through some practical examples. And if we get some time at the end, we can do a brief Q&A. And as a follow-up, we'll certainly be sharing a number of resources that we have, which we hope you will find useful. So let's kick off. So I think I'm preaching to the choir here, but everyone, I believe, are aware of what are relationship skills. So in summary, if we're not sure, well, relationship skills are really the abilities to build healthy connections with others, right? So if we have good relationships with our peers, with colleagues, it means we can communicate clearly, we can we can do listening actively, we can cooperate with others well, and we can resolve conflicts, and we can show care and respect. And so when we think about, how does this translate into classrooms? There are examples of like collaboration, being respectful, conversations, and peer support. Today, in my webinar series so far, I've been focusing largely on middle schools. I think at this stage, students are really figuring out what friendships mean, cliques, and independence. And so you do see this where you will see students, they'll struggle with managing like conflict with friends, feeling awkward, or struggling to communicate openly. And there'll be occasions where they resist group work or cooperation. And so it's a really, really good time to be intentional about teaching the importance of relationship skills. And so hopefully we'll go through a few different examples. So tactic one, again, some of this is going to be really obvious to you. I think one of the key things I wanted to get across today is sometimes things are so obvious that we assume everyone's doing them. And in a school environment where, classrooms are often closed, we're in different buildings, it's pretty lonely when you're in the trenches and you're teaching. And so this is really getting the people that are on our webinar today to go away and think about, are we being intentional about teaching these skills across our school building, our school district? And if not, or we don't have confidence about that, okay, what are some of the steps that we can do to start answering this question? So tactic one is really, how can we help teachers structure group work to teach positive interactions? Again, we will have teachers do this, but from a counselor perspective, from our perspective, how can we create a toolkit or examples or resources that are very, very easy for them to access and to connect the dots between skill building and student behaviors? And so a couple of examples here, we can assign roles. So things like when we're working together, encouragers, note takers, summarizers. It's important to rotate the roles so everyone gets an opportunity to practice these skills. And why does it work? It reduces group conflict. It encourages fairness, which is very important for middle school students. It builds communication and accountability, and it gives shy students a clear entry point, clear expectations of what they can do. So yeah, we have a resource which we'll share, which is just a cheat sheet really, but it's something that you can distribute and give to your teachers. There's no cost to this. We'll share this. And it's just a useful PDF that teachers can keep front of mind as they're teaching. Tactic 2, active listening practice. So this is really about, teach teachers to model and prompt listening skills. Examples, turn and talk with follow-up questions, reflective prompts like, what did your partner say? Another good example, just from my own experience as a classroom teacher, um, is something I call head, shoulders, knees, and toes. So often, when we're in a classroom, the students will not have their chairs pointed towards the person who may be speaking. That might be the classroom teacher, or that might be when they're working in a group. Encouraging the students to point their whole chair and their head, shoulders, knees, and toes directly in the direction of the person that's talking is really, really helpful in terms of improving active listening. Otherwise, you find yourself with students, their body is turned this way and their neck is turned this way, which is just uncomfortable, but actually you don't realize how uncomfortable it is, and you don't realize how much that makes it difficult for active listening. So it's such a simple tip. It's very, very useful, and you really see the benefit of this compounded when students start to turn this into a habit, because they're getting the same message from different teachers that they interact with in different classrooms during the school day. So yeah, active listening, it deepens student engagement, it validates peer voices, and of course, it builds empathy, which is very, very important. Tactic 3, we call this repair and reconnect scripts. It's really offering language tools for students to use after conflict. So often it's difficult at this stage for students to. I would also say adults also can face. Let me say that again. I would say it's not only students, but also adults struggle with this. So being able to provide some scaffolding and some scripts can really help them communicate and express themselves outwardly. And so this really helps with building emotional regulation. It provides them an opportunity to, it's better to say things out loud than keep them in. And it supports long-term conflict resolution skills. So they know how to deal with difficult situations like this because we've given them the opportunity to practice. And again, from a tactic perspective, this is about communicating this to teachers and giving them that, letting them know explicitly that this is a tactic. We may think things are obvious, that everyone knows how to do this, when in reality, from our experience, it's very difficult, and it's certainly not done consistently. And we certainly don't connect the dots between student behaviors and specific relationship skills that where students struggle with. And so, yeah, providing different types of resources like this, where you can provide templates and scripts, even within flashcards during difficult moments, can be very, very useful. Tactic 4, this is all about peer support roles. And again, I know quite a lot of the things that I'm sharing today, this is not rocket science. Many of you will have done these things, and many of you will have communicated these types of tactics already to your teaching body. This example here, it's really about encouraging teachers to assign students as classroom helpers or support buddies. And there's many ways to do this, but getting our teachers to do this more intentionally is when you'll really get the benefits. And again, why does it work? Well, it builds leadership, it increases classroom trust, and it strengthens belonging, which is a very, very important part of why students come to school, and the motivation that they can have. Okay, tactic 5, celebrate collaboration. We know that it's so important to reinforce positive behaviors and positive learning, and it feels good when we use encouragement and positive reinforcement. So this is about just making sure that our teachers do make a habit of spotlighting positive teamwork. And it could be simple things like this: team of the week, shout outs, class awards for kind communications. This is the sort of stuff that, again, requires very little resource. It's just about being intentional. And again, why does it work? It reinforces desired behaviors. It makes collaboration feel rewarding, and it builds community norms within our classes, within our grade levels, and within our school buildings. Okay, so yeah, those were the tactics that I wanted to share today, specifically related to this competency, and it's about finding ways to support teachers connect the dots. Like I've said, I probably sound like a broken record today, but yeah, relationship skills, like, you don't need full lessons, you don't need full curriculums. Your teachers may not be on that journey, and even if you are using fully loaded curriculums with scope and sequence, it may not feel authentic. What we found that works much more effectively is when, as obvious as it sounds, is when things are done with authenticity and sincerity. And sometimes if we're implementing specific scope and sequence curriculums, and teachers don't really buy into it, and they don't connect the dots between the skills, the student behaviors, it will often feel like a checkbox that they're just going through, which will not have the desired impact, and ultimately will lead to counselors can only do so much, right? We won't get that impact across the school building. So I often say sometimes it's sometimes better to slow down, to zoom out, and to focus on just one tactic at a time, making sure teachers are actually doing it with intentionality, and that's when we can really start to see the big changes, and that's when it can be embedded. So thank you everyone for attending. As I said, very, very short webinar today. I appreciate we're all very time poor. And one of the things we try to do is just share practical tactics. So everything I've shared today, the team will follow up, and we'll share like a PDF, which you can share with your team. And so, yeah, I don't know if anyone has any questions or experiences that they want to share, or challenges that they face when they're trying to get teachers to practice these tactics. Please do shout out in the chat window, and I'll try to answer some questions. If not, yeah, thank you so much for attending. I'll just give it I'll just see if there's anyone's got any questions. Thank you. I think Navita has raised her hand. So let me try and figure this out. Let me just. Hi, Navita. Please feel free. You can talk, or you can send a message in the chat window.
I was just asking, where can we download the free toolkit? Hi.
Oh, hi. Hi, I can't see you, but I can hear you. Someone from our team. So usually when the webinar finishes, within like 24 hours, they'll ping like a PDF through. And I'll also make sure that we can share the other resources that we've done in the previous webinars for the other CASEL competencies. Does that sound okay?
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, well, team, look, thank you so much for attending, everyone. As a summary, you can also learn more by visiting www.satchelpulse.com. We do a number of different things that are specific to preventative mental health. And so, yeah, check out some of the things that we do there. And I hope to see you again this time next week, where I'll be running another webinar, and hopefully I will see you then. So have a great afternoon. Thanks so much for attending. Bye.